This is lesson 6.5 in pre-algebra, fractions, decimals, and percents. You have done this many times in the past, I know, last year, the year before. I know you know how to do this. I'm going to give you a very brief overview as to how to do them, and then that's going to be it. This is going to be a 5 or 6 minute lesson. Yeah, that was bad. All right, here we go. Anyway, two things. So you're going to need to be able to convert from percents to decimals to fractions, back to percents, back to decimals, back to, you know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about, you just have to be able to turn these things and play with them and turn and convert them into each other. Okay, so here's the deal. How do you turn a fraction how do you turn a percent? You know, if I have a 20%, how do I write that as a fraction? Here's the deal. Fraction to a fraction. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's very simple and very straightforward. To go from a percent to a fraction, it's really simple. Listen, here's the important thing about percent. Percents mean, when you hear the word percent, you can take whatever number they say and put it over 100. It's that simple. So if I say 20%, it means 20 over 100. If I say 17%, that means 17 over 100. If I say 2%, it means 2 over 100. Anytime you hear the word percent, it means over 100. That's how you convert it to a fraction. Percents to fractions are super simple. So 20% to a fraction is 20 over 100, which can be reduced to 1 out of 5, right? Or 1/5. Agreed? Super straightforward. That is how you do it. What if I have this? What if I have 275%? What do I do to turn that to a fraction? Put it over 100. I don't care what it is. I don't care what the number is. You put it over 100. 275 over 100. That reduces to 2 3/4. Okay? Make sense? Make sense? Real straightforward. So, in today's lesson, you're just going to have to remember how to do these things, okay? That's the way you'd go from a percent to a fraction. To go from a percent to a decimal, if I have 20% and I want to go to a decimal, it's again very straightforward. You take your 20% and you're going to move the decimal place to the left 2 spaces and you come up with 0.2 as the decimal. If you're going from a fraction, from a percent to a decimal, you simply move the decimal 2 spaces to the left, and you have your answer. Does that make sense? If I want to convert from a decimal, 0.7, to a percent, I'm going to move the decimal to the right 2 spaces. So I'm going to go from 0.7, I'm going to go boom, boom, put it here, it's 70%. Does that make sense? What if I have a big ugly decimal like 14.41? What do I do to turn that into a percent? Move the decimal to the right 2 spaces. So it would be 1,441%. You literally move it over 2 spaces. That's all you do. And then you turn right the percent symbol. That's what you do to convert from a decimal to a percent. That's what you do. So it's so straightforward with all that you do with all of these, right, is you go from a percent to a fraction, you write it over 100, right? To go from a percent to a decimal, you move the decimal to the left 2 spaces. To go from a decimal to a percent, you move the decimal to the right 2 spaces. Here's your homework. And that's it. There's nothing else to do. We're talking without permission. Page 133. No, that's not true. Page 308. No, that's not true. Page 312, 1 through 43 even.